Hello, my little British chums. I'm not from France, I was just doing a bit. Yes, it's the RetroTech 120p challenge, and we are playing Streetfighter Alpha. So soon after Streetfighter Alpha 3 too. So there we are, yes, Warrior's Dreams. It's a prequel, as you may or may not know. I'm going with Chunners, because I know how she plays. I've never played the first Streetfighter Alpha 3 before now. Played the third and second one, but never this one. So yeah, RetroTech 120p challenge is you can have as many practice runs as you want. I had one just to acclimatise myself with it. And once you've finished your practice runs, then you can start your game. You press record, you submit that game, and then you end up on the wheel to choose the game for next week. Who wouldn't like that? You might even win as well. You might even win the contest. Who knows? So yes, there we go. I'm fighting at the moment. I'm fighting Birdie, who's from the first Street Fighter game. I don't know how his hair works. He's got a hole in his hair, and surely the hair above it would come off, unless he's cut that out and just sort of gelled all the dead hair over the hole. How does that work? People with better ideas of punk hairstyles, please do let me know. I do not know how to construct a mohawk like that. It looks like a bit of Emmental though. But yes, it came out in 1995. This was the first Street Fighter game. Street Fighter 2 game. No, let's say that again. It's the first Street Fighter game that came out after Street Fighter 2, in terms of not a revision of Street Fighter 2, but a first individual new game. It's a prequel. It's otherwise known as Street Fighter Zero. It came out on the PlayStation 1, the Saturn, the Game Boy Color, Windows. Didn't come out on the Super Nintendo, although the second one did, which is well strange if you ask me. Super Nintendo couldn't run number 2 at all, really. It was chugging. It was chugging away, so it was. It features characters from Street Fighter 1, as you've just seen, Street Fighter 2, as you've just seen, original characters, and characters from Final Fight, as you can now see as we fight Sodom. And no, sodomization is not the next genital fact. It is what it is. It's a Street Fighter style beat 'em up. If you know Chun-Li's moves, she's got a few extra ones as well, even though this is a prequel, so does she forget them? I don't know. You got like your Ryus, your Kens, Sagats, M-Bice's the boss in it. I think Akuma's in it as an unlockable character. Dan's in it, I think, as well. And then you've got like lots of new different characters, and it sort of, as the series went on, it sort of introduced all your other favourites from Street Fighter 2 back into it, along with another few characters from Final Fight and Street Fighter 1. It was pretty well regarded by the press. I think 3 is where it peaked, Street Fighter Alpha 3, and then after they finished that series, they went on to Street Fighter 3, which is actually really good. Street Fighter 3, if you ever get a chance to play it. Not really as well thought of in terms of, or well remembered, should I say. People did like it, but it wasn't as well remembered. Anyway, let us move on to the genital facts. So I've gone for, as I'm using Chun-Li, famous for using her feet. I've gone for foot fetishes. There's also a level in my little practice run I did. There was a level where you fought next to the statue that Sagat fights next to, and they've gone for a different angle, and you're down by its feet. So whoever was in charge of Capcom that day was like, yeah, I'm a big foot dude. So yeah, there's that. So yeah, the foot fetishes, let's give you the facts there. There's the jingle. Foot fetish's Latin name is podophilia. You got to be careful how you say that one. Crikey. 50% of people who are aware of fetishes are aware of foot fetishes. It's the most well-known fetish that people know. 1 out of 7 people have fantasized about feet, apparently. Are you one of those people? Tell me in the comments below. We won't judge. 5% of people have a fully fledged foot fetish. So, if I get like 100 viewers of this video, 5% of them will be secretly looking at Chun-Li's little digital feet and perhaps getting a little firmness in the Hampton. Who knows? 21% of homosexual or bisexual men have a foot fetish. There you go. A foot fetish is a learned fetish, meaning that people sort of develop it gradually. It's not something you probably will have when you're first coming into noticing the opposite sex as a sort of a mid-teenager of 13, 14, but you'll sort of learn to appreciate feet as you get older, if that's the way you're inclined. The part of the brain responsible for processing genital arousal is right next to the part that processes foot sensations, which is potentially a reason why this is such a prevalent fetish. Because if you ask me, feet look like deformed hands and are not at all sexual in any way, shape or form. Common foot fetishes include foot massages, fairly benign, foot jobs, okay, sniffing and licking, alright, a bit disgusting, and then the foot being used in penetration. And put a sock on or something. Actually don't, that's probably horrible for the other person, don't do that. There are a string of famous foot fetishes, as I lose my first credit. They include Quentin Tarantino, Marilyn Manson, Britney Spears, dead artist Andy Warhol, dead author Dostoevsky, Christian Slater, Dita Von Teese, she's a pretty lady, Elvis Presley, Jack Black, he's not a pretty lady, Red Man, Ricky Martin, Buffy star David Boreanaz, murderer Ted Bundy, and Motley Crue drummer Tommy Lee. Sorry for Tommy Lee for not putting you ahead of the murderer Ted Bundy. It seems like I've disrespected you in some way, and for a man that spends his time drumming in like a big orb thing, that seems a bit mean of me, and I do apologise. There you go, but it makes you wonder what you got up to with old Pammy, doesn't it? So there are my genital facts done for this week. You've learned all about foot fetishes, or podophilia. That's podophilia. Good. Right, yes, so this is a dramatic battle, isn't it? It's not looking good for old Chunners here. Against Guy from Final Fight. He's got the actual music from Final Fight on this level. I thought it was kind of cool. I'm guessing we're in Metro City or a Chinatown part of it, because apparently in a recent game, in Street Fighter 6 in fact, if you look on the map, Metro City's in Canada, which is surprising. I always thought it was like a New York or a Chicago or something like that, but it's in Canada, in Montreal. Metro City's in Montreal, you know. I don't know how bad their crime is. Is it as bad as New York or whatever? I don't know. But yeah, it was cool, definitely, to see people like Guy and Sodom, and then Relento and Cody in other games as well. And I think there's a few other fights like Poison and Andor and whoever appear a bit later on in the series. Final Fight sort of had its own sort of successes, didn't it? But it was originally supposed to be Street Fighter 89 or something, from what I remember. But yeah, what's coming up on the channel next week? Let's talk about that. Well, in the next week, so we've got Mr. Blobby. I've got a video of that coming up this week. And then the following week, I've got a Jeff Capes Strongman video coming up, because he had an 8-bit game by Martech on the Commodore 64, the Amstrad, the BBC and the Spectrum. And then the following week after that, I've already done the video for this weekend, and that is... what was it? I just did it, I just finished it. Oh, it's a game based on a film I'd never heard of called Cloak and Dagger, which had the kid from E.T. in it. But it's not like a conversion, it's more of a companion piece. And if you know the film Cloak and Dagger, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So yes. But yeah, dealt with Guy there, finally. Got rid of him. Off you go, mate. I'm fighting Guile's protege Charlie here, with his very interesting haircut. Lots of interesting haircuts in Street Fighter Alpha. I don't even know how you grow that hair. You'd have to repeat it. You'd have to keep it very short at the back, but then just keep growing the front. If you didn't have any hair gel, that would just sort of be like hanging down to your belly button. Old Charlie's hair there. He's got some chunky old legs on him, isn't he? Crikey. Yeah, I don't know who's going to win this week. It looks to me like it could be, of course, the person who picked the game, Sean. It could be Anthony. It could be regular winner, Mark. You never know, it might be Christian. Christian had a bit of luck on these, I seem to remember, back in the day. He might well be using the same techniques that I'm using, which is sort of jamming the buttons. I don't do that massively amount, because I know I'm sort of using Street Fighter knowledge with Chun-Li here, but I can see someone finishing this one. Or getting very close. Certainly getting to one of the bosses, be it M. Bison or Akuma. We shall see. We shall see. I think there's some skilled fighters in our ranks. But please, if you are one of those skilled fighters and you're not in our ranks, then please do join. Go to the Retro Tech group. Find the it should be pretty near the top, and I'm going to put a link down below. Find the link to this game and join in. Because if you don't join in, then Jesus will cry. Now you're going to see my good self handed my own bum by a Ken who keeps repeatedly spamming the Dragon Punch. But then that's up to me to get good, isn't it? I'm told. But yes, I probably could beat him if I got better at the game. Never changes his look. He chose not to change his clothes. Look, just still wearing the same gi he did in Street Fighter 2 some years later. I don't know. Does anyone know when this? How many years ago this is set before Street Fighter 2? I think someone did tell me with Street Fighter Alpha 3 in the comments, but I can't remember. But yeah, certainly do join us, and it will be fun to see what you pick next week if you're with us. I don't know what I'm going to pick next week. I chose Toki this week. It didn't come up. I don't really fancy Toki now. What am I going to choose? That's up for me to decide. So yeah, that's the end of me go. That's a shame, isn't it? Let's hope I'm mid-table, or kind of in the European qualification group. Let's hope I'm a Brighton rather than a Leeds or something. But yeah, thank you for joining me on this venture at this point. Please do have a look at the other videos, and do join in yourself, you big coward. People will respect you more for it. But until next time, sayonara and K thanks bye.